Mountain West, Jeff Morrow, Jeff Nolan back here at Hersheypark Arena. We have a special guest, Rick Tingle, who's with Peters Township, and I want to take us back here to Iceline for our little bet we had. You had your Coley Ghost jersey on, and Rick and I called the game that day. I have the picture in the box somewhere. We couldn't find it. Rick, we're still waiting for my car to get washed.
I've been waiting for your car to be washed at Peters Township High School for 2 years now, so I'm looking forward to it.
Every time I go to a Peters game, Rick asks me, when are we getting the car washed?
Well, you and I have discussed it. I'm supposed to come out. We tried to come out. I couldn't come out the times you guys wanted me to. My daughter's going to get her master's at Cal U.
Are we going to buy it?
I'm coming back out, and we'll handle it this summer.
Well, what we're going to do, we're going to have some fun, have a fundraiser with the Peters Township folks, Rick?
Yes, we'll make something happen there at the high school and make sure there's plenty of water and soap so you can get the cars washed up well.
And he has to wear a Peters Township jersey, and we have a nice big one for you.
That's fine.
Hey, Rick, Peters Township back here again, huh?
Yep, we're going to do it again this year. I'm looking forward to the game. It sounds like the buzzer's ready and game time. So
thanks for stepping in.
Thank you. We'll
Appreciate
see you.
I'm going to turn it over to Jeff Nolan. He has a special guest, Rich Kearns from the Eastern Hockey League.
I do. As a matter of fact, Rich Kearns is going to join me right now as Jeff gets set up here. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that. Rich is the president of the Eastern Hockey League. Haverford High, they're in it for you guys, second time since 1992. Great to be represented, isn't it?
It's absolutely great. I'm real proud of the team. They're playing real well. They had a nice season, and they have a terrific coach in Brian Cleary. He's a tremendous coach and a better individual.
Rich and I are going to stand aside here for the national anthem. We'll continue with Rich Kearns and our hockey game right after this. As we come back to you here at Hersheypark Arena with Rich Kearns, my name is Jeff Nolan. Rich is the president of the Eastern League. His Haverford High Fords are in this game against Peters Township. But when I talk to you, I want to talk about something else. That's your daughter, Gina. Gina playing for Interborough this past year on the boys team, a member of the team going to play for national championships, USA Hockey Championships coming up this week. Tell us a little bit about GK.
Gina's a terrific kid. I have three children. Gina's just a special hockey player. She is going to go to Boston University next year. We're real anxious to go to the Nationals. We're going to Colorado on Tuesday. Gina's just a terrific player. She plays for Interborough High School, who lost in the semifinals in overtime at the Flyers Cup semifinals game.
Good enough that she had a goal in the game as well. And she'll be going, like you said, to Boston U. You going to miss having her around the house?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to stay involved with the league. You know, I've been asked if I was going to resign my position now that my kids are going through, but I am not. I'm going to stay on. I enjoy my volunteering my time, and I plan on, as soon as the schedule comes out, making a lot of trips up to Boston.
Thanks a lot. That's Rich Kearns, president of the Eastern League. His Haverford High Fords are in this game. And we will get ready for the play-by-play. Jeff Morrow joins me, and I'll kick it over to Jeff. Thanks, Rich.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Jeff Morrow, Jeff Nolan, we're back here at the Hersheypark Arena. And Haverford, Peters Township.
They're going to have some run here at Peters Township. Losing to run. Haverford, here comes Povey up through the middle. And that is played off of his stick at the last moment. Rob Madore, starting goaltender for Peters Township. Dave Thomas, the call for the Fords of Haverford High School. They won the title back in '92. Brian Cleary's their head coach. Mark Cooper, the head man at Peters Township. And we'll get a quick stoppage here. And look on the ice there, one of my favorite referees, Tommy Paulus from the Lower Bucks County Hockey League with the mullet haircut. Going to drop that face off right there. Haverford comes into this game. Very impressive season, the #1 seed in the Flyer Cup tournament. Shot off the face-off, loose out in front of Madore. That was cleared there. And the Indians look to move the puck, broken up. Ian Finnerty sends it right back into the Indian zone. Forechecking is Chris Campley. Brought up along the puck, brought up along the near side. Peters Township now will play it from behind the net this time. Spinning around with it is Garrett Rooney. Rooney comes up along the near side to Dustin Rue. Squeezes a pass out through center ice, broken up by a poke check the opposite blue line by Lowry. Here comes Rooney one more time. Tried to dump it in, worked it down along that half-board across the way. They'll pile up there. Early moments, Peters Township with the puck. They try to come towards the net. From behind this time, now poked into the left wing corner. Chased down there by Rue. Rue brought it out in front. Top of the circle drive. And a save there by Thomas with the left pad. Again a drive. That whistle's wide. Wide open near side. No, that did not go in. Up over the net as Rue just lifted the puck a little bit too high. So Haverford seeing some problems early. Able to sneak out of trouble. They will change up. Both teams will change on the fly. 2 minutes into the game. Peters Township forward pulled down. Haverford High's Lou Pepe tried to bring it out, can't get it out. Papsiak, stick save by Thomas. In front of Thomas. Puck bounces off the board, and here come the Fords out of the zone. Haverley, who had 2 goals in the Flyer Cup final win over Council Rock South, sends the puck in the offensive zone for the Fords, kept in left side by Danny Riley. Riley couldn't keep it in for long, fights for the puck on the backhand from one knee, sends it right back in. From behind the net this time. And double check our stats here as a shot coming off the near wall and a save there by Rob Madure, the 10th grader for Peters Township. Very solid throughout the tournament, Jeff.
Jeff, I'm glad to be back. We have we're getting things back together here. We want to thank Dave Bright, Dwight Dietrich, and Jeremy Herman. Hard work just to get this back online with the folks here at Hersheypark Arena. We had some bandwidth issues, and they've seemed to have worked it out. We're here with the BX Video folks, and we're also here with Dave Fryer, who's the coach of Cannon McMillan, who's Big Max lost to Peters Township in the Penguin Cup semifinals, and he's going to give us some added. Nice to visit with Rich Kearns and with Rick Tingle from Peters Township.
Well, Peters Township with the puck back left point. The Valley. And Shane Coyle called with a penalty here. So Peters Township will go on the power play. Boarding is the call.
We didn't have a chance to talk about these two teams very much. And I'll tell you from the Peters Township side, a very explosive offense. Dustin Rue, Jerry Raymond, Hannon, Brian and Chris Papsiak, Jake Della Valle, Matt Lazaro, Eric Windemuller, all pitched in goals in the Penguin Cup. This is a very high-powered offense and a great goaltender in Rob Madore, who has been just sparkling since the Penguin Cup semifinals.
So Peters Township on the attack with the extra skaters. Mark Orlando put a stick on the puck, cleared it out for the Fords. So the black jerseys of Peters Township will have to come out as Jake Michelle slides the puck cross ice, picked up by his teammate. Through center ice, now onsides down the left side is Hannon. Saved by Thomas. Thomas, very good goaltender up close, may struggle at times from shots from the blue line. Now they flick it towards Thomas. Backhand, he got that one as well. Pass intended for the left circle, comes back to the point. This is Raymond. Raymond goes cross ice again. One-time drive. Again, Thomas cutting down the angle and throwing out the right pad, makes the save as the puck comes out of the zone. 30 seconds left on the power play for Peters Township. Scoreless first period. And Haverford again will just clear it. Shane Coyle boarding early here in the period. Rue, stick handles. Wants to leave it for the trailer. Wrist shot by Raymond goes wide. And in 5 seconds, Coyle will join the four to make 5. We go back to 5-on-5 hockey with 10:15 to play in a scoreless first period. Peters Township now comes out of the corner, sends the puck behind the net. With it is Raymond. Tries to backhand it on the short side. Saved by Thomas. And that allows Haverford to clear. Down the right side goes Campley. Campley out there along with Coyle. From behind the net, they bang there. Kept in, or Pepe could not keep it in at the right side.
Jeff, I wanted to just mention the Indians are coached by Mark Cooper. Been to the state finals here for the last 4 years. Coach Coop in Western Pennsylvania, quite a character. And I'll tell you what, doesn't get enough credit for Peters Township hockey and bringing them back here again. They were the 7th seed this year, and they have really climbed a long way to get here, and Mark Cooper had a lot to do with that.
I find it hard to believe a coach cannot get credit getting to the state championship game 4 consecutive years.
Well, I think he just does a wonderful job with the boys. He has a very interesting group of kids and that aspire to play at a higher level, and he has to manage a lot of schedules, and Mark Cooper does a great job of it in trying to get his kids together and back here to try to win the state championship, which eluded them last year against Archbishop Carroll. They lost 4-2 at the RMU Neville Island Sports Center.
Well, Haverford on the attack. They lift the shot up towards the net as Povey's shot never found its way in on net. John Povey picked up his first goal of the Flyer Cup tournament in the win against Council Rock South on Tuesday night. He had 6 points, named the tournament MVP. McLaughlin now had it knocked out of the zone, almost knocked out as Michelle kept it in. Left side. Peters Township in black, Haverford High in white. Now off that right wing board wall, played in towards, and that follow-up shot knocked down. Back to the point, kept in, chipped along the boards, rolls into the left wing corner. Haverford dumps it back out towards the blue line, and that rolls out.
Hey, Jeff, the one thing we want to mention, we have some footage of the game last year between Archbishop Carroll. We saw Coach Hammonds. We hope to get him in here in between periods. But we have the footage of last year's state championship game here, which you'll see up on your screen, the finish between Archbishop Carroll and Peters Township. But we're going to keep with live action here with Doug Heck. And this is brought to you by Heck's Video Productions at www.hex.net in Johnstown. And they bring you a lot of color for over 10 years of the Pennsylvania State Championships and the Penguin Cup.
I'm sure Peters Township really loves to see that old footage right now of last year's loss. As the goaltender out there, Rob Madure, makes the save. Kept in left point by Danny Riley, the defenseman, sends it back behind the net. Played by the backhand of Michelle. Peters Township, they'll poke out at the blue line. Can't get the puck out of the zone. Second try is no. A good forecheck in there by Campley, as he was able to put pressure on the puck, but it's dumped out to the opposite blue line. Ari Nugent goes over to Riley, who whistles one up over the net. Rebound came out along the half-board across the way. Coyle forechecking. Puck played out. Nugent settled with a glove, played it himself to the neutral ice, but I believe we'll have an offside. Early here in the first period, 7:42 left exact. No score. Peters Township and Haverford High for the state championship on the AA level.
Well, I had a chance to visit with Dave Hannon, whose father, Jeff Hannon, longtime Pittsburgh Penguin and Edmonton Oiler, played on a couple Stanley Cup championship teams. And he says this is a new group of Peters Townships. His young son, Jeff, and a lot of the boys are young players. And they want to atone for the Archbishop Carroll last year. They feel they left something on the table. And in this group of boys, I had the chance to visit with Coop last night and a couple of the fine folks, including Dave Fletcher. I didn't get the chance to meet with him, but and Rick Tingle. And they're ready. They want to atone for that. And they have a tough chore in their hands with Haverford here today.
Well, right now, Peters Township will go on the attack as they cross the red line. In the middle, down the slot, just missing the connection to Hannon. Speaking of Jeff Hannon, we have a loose stick, and we have a penalty coming up. It's going to be a hold.
One of my favorite players of professional hockey, Dave Hannon, always hustled, always the extra effort to get to the loose pucks. And he was one of the hardest workers on those Penguin teams in the early days with Mario Lemieux. But he found his niche at Edmonton, and he won a couple of Stanley Cups. Great guy. I love visiting with him. Comes from Ontario, and he's really enjoying it here today. He said he's going to go home and watch this after the game. So, Dave, thanks so much for your support of PA hockey.
Well, Shane Coyle from Haverford High better be careful, because he may have to go home and watch this game. Called for holding. Second time he's been whistled for a penalty here halfway through the game. Peters Township on the power play for the second time. Scoreless, 7 minutes to play, first period. In front of Madure, goes off the boot of Orlando. Orlando forechecking behind the net, able to tie up two Peters Township players as they slide the outlet down the left side to Hannon. Hannon now gains the opposite blue, tries to pull it around the defenseman, still on his stick. Out in front, turnaround shot by Raymond. That goes off the fallen defenseman. Picked up by Rue. Rue behind the net. They go into the circle. Shot And again, a great play by the sliding defenseman, Ian Finnerty.
Great block by Ian Finnerty there. Haverford High is a big team here, big, strong, physical team, and they're throwing their weight around here early.
Well, it has been the reputation. You got to be physical against Peters Township, else they could possibly run you out of a building.
Well, we saw that in 2003 over at the ice line and what they did to the Holy Ghost Squad. One of the great Peters Township teams of all time. We're going over to Dave Fryer here.
Thomas.
A contrast, if you will, Jeff, of this Peters team and the team we just saw, Pencrest. A lot of different pieces to the puzzle with Peters Township. Player like number 77, Garrett Rooney, the captain, just has been a steady player, steady, no-frills player. Wyndham Mueller, lunch bucket guy. You have Chris Paxiak, the freshman, very talented, sealed up the Penguin Cup for them. A lot of diversity, a lot of good players on that team.
Well, Raymond gets 2 minutes for roughing, so we'll play 4-on-4 hockey. And then we'll get about a minute power play for Haverford. This is Paxiak, wrist shot, knocked down by Riley. In the right wing circle, Riley dishes a pass out of the zone. Here comes Povey. Povey wristed right in towards the net. Rebound, swatted off the doorstep. Right onto Povey's stick. Tried to send a shot in towards the net. That was taken control of by Peters Township. Paxiak now taken headfirst into the boards by Riley. That was dangerous.
Well, I think when we met with Brian Cleary and we had that interview, Jeff, he talked about the back check, and Haverford's doing a nice job of keeping three guys high late and early on in this game. The other thing that I saw from Haverford I really like, they're testing Medor. They're taking a lot of shots from a lot of different areas. So they want to test the young goaltender. But believe me, Rob Medor's sharp. He's sharp early here. He looks good. He's out on the top of his circle.
Rob Medor in Game 2 of the Penguin Cup playoffs beat Greensburg Central Catholic 2-1. He stopped 43 of 44 shots.
Yeah, and was unbelievable in relief in the Cannon McMillan game and again in the Penguin Cup final. It's a pretty good Pine Richmond team that had a lot of offensive power. Medor made a lot of good saves, but he looks to be into the game here.
Now power play time up on the board, out in front. Shot, point-blank range, lifted up over the net. Finnerty all alone.
Believe it or not, Medor got a piece of that. He had his body centered, and he got over there quickly, and the puck glanced off his shoulder.
Orlando now, right side, cross ice. Missed the connection with Campley. Allows Peters Township a chance to clear. You see Dave Thomas right there with that long shot, bouncing off of him and out of his way.
Well, one of the workhorses for Peters Township on the defensive end forward-wise has been Brian Paxiak all season. And he's a fine player, and he made a nice mid-ice hit there and back check for Peters Township right there.
10 seconds left on the abbreviated power play for Haverford in the neutral ice. Dumped back in by the Forge, chased after by Coyle. The goaltender Medor comes out. Pepe keeps it in right side. Puck sent over to the open end of the ice across the way, but a strong backhand by Michel sends it back out to the red line. Almost a steal by Raymond as he came back onto the ice out of the penalty box.
Well, Jeff, Raymond's a very dangerous player. I mean, in the Penguin Cup, he hasn't really been up on the scoreboard, but he scored the big goal against Cannon McMillan, and he could strike at any time. He's a very, very talented offensive player, and he plays both ends of the ice.
Quick moving first period, 3:39 to play. Scoreless first period, as a matter of fact. Peters Township and Haverford High for the Pennsylvania AA State Championship. Now Coyle works it up along the boards to himself. Coyle gains the blue line. Once Haberle couldn't quite get it to him. Brings a pass out to the middle. That was knocked off the stick of Hannon and out of the zone. And a steal. Here goes Peters Township in the offensive zone. Shot, score! That snuck through the pads off the stick of the goaltender Thomas. And Dustin Rue picks up the game's first goal.
Well, you saw a chance for Haverford at one end, and this is what makes Peters Township so dangerous. You saw the chance at one end. Garrett Rooney made a terrific play just to tip the puck into the corner. It came out, Hannon deflected it ahead, and the quick Dustin Rue after it, and he made no mistake. This kid is one of the finest inline hockey players in the country. He's on the U.S. national team, and he can put the puck in the net, and he showed it right there.
Dustin Rue, the junior, picks up the goal, even strength, 11:45. Period number 1, 1-0 Peters Township.
And you just see that Peters Township, how quickly they can strike and how the pieces of the puzzle come together when they're all playing well.
And if I remember this about Peters Township over the past couple years, past 3 or 4 years, they get more confidence. I mean, they're a confident group coming onto this ice regardless, but as they begin to attack and score and cash in on opportunities, they become even more dangerous.
Well, I think one thing you have to remember about Peters Township, they adopt the personality of their coach, okay? Mark Cooper's a cocky guy by nature, but he's a confident guy, and he believes in his boys. He believes in his program, and he believes that he's going to win a state championship every time he tees it up. And that's what the players are about for Peters Township. It's a little different era, and probably why they've been here 4 years in a row. Sometimes that's to a detriment. Maybe they took Archbishop Carroll a little too lightly last year, but I'll tell you what, they look like they're ready to play here today.
Jeff Hannon picked up the assist on the Dustin Rue goal. As Matt Lazaro tied up at the blue line. Lazaro, big game against Pine Richland in the Cup win. And again, Lazaro towards the net. Thomas makes the save in tight.
That was a big save there by Thomas. I tell you, it looked like a tap-in for Matt Lazaro. And I want to talk about Lazaro here for a minute if we get a chance.
Final 2 minutes of the first period, 1-0 Peters Township. At the Haverford blue line, the assistant captain, Mark Orlando. Circle drive. That whistled over the shoulder of Madore.
That was a heavy shot there by Orlando. He could really let it fly.
And a steal on sides together. Tingle waits, rips one. Looking for the upper corner, deflected up and out of play.
Matt Lazzaro's an interesting story. A kid that been out all year, had his arm in a sling. You know, the guy was at every Peters Township game I saw, and he couldn't play. Well, the nice thing about the state playoffs is they allow a kid that comes back that has less than 10 games played, and he's back to full health. Scored 2 big goals in the Penguin Cup semifinal. Another piece of the puzzle. Lazaro, watch for him today. You know, he throws out some big, but he could score goals too. And this is what makes Peters Township very dangerous.
Haverford clear the puck out of the zone. They will try to attack, but they'll be offsides. Coyle was in before the puck.
Jeff Nolan, Mr. Hockey East. How are you?
Jeff Morrow, Mr. Hockey West. Fun to be with you. Fun to be at Hersheypark Arena.
Oh, yeah. Looks like we have our live feed has been worked out, and we're back to action here, Jeff, and away you go, bud.
Beautiful thing here. Late in the first period, Peters Township with a 1-0 lead. 70 seconds to play. Puck in the Indian zone. Orlando and Coyle, the white jerseys out there for Haverford High, tied up by the dark jerseys of Tingle and Docking for Peters Township. Indians wind up with the puck last minute of play. Puck kept in by Campley. Campley couldn't do nothing with it. Rolls back out to the red line. Onsides is Orlando. Orlando to Coyle. Coyle with a backhand on that rubber to Orlando. Orlando now tries to wrap it around. Shot never found its way in on net. Peters very confident in front of their own net. Just dump it out to the red line.
One thing I want to watch with Haverford, Jeff, is they're handling the puck at the blue line, at their own blue line, and at the opposition's blue line a little too much. And they're going to get a turnover here, and Peters can strike quickly. They have to be very careful not to turn the puck over at either blue line.
Final 20 seconds of our opening period. Peters Township keeping in the blue line, but swatted out with a glove of the defenseman for Haverford. Michelle will wait for the black jerseys to get out. Lobs one in on Thomas. Thomas is a little scary from long distance.
Well, I tell you, we saw a goal, Dave Fryer and I, in the Penguin Cup semifinal single A that was the most unbelievable goal. The puck went up in the air against Sewickley Academy, and I don't like to make light of it, but it may be lost in the lighting, and the goaltender went down in front of it and went right between the 5-hole, and Sarah was in a lot of trouble at that point, and that was kind of the nail in the coffin for Sewickley Academy. So that, you know, one thing we want to mention, speaking on the note of Sewickley Academy, Eric Houlihan, the coach of Sewickley, was one of the people that brought the BX video folks to PA hockey early on, and we want to thank him thank him for, and we see Rick Gallagher has joined us here, a good friend from the Suburban League, a long time, over 30 years we found out, and he was a big casualty in our Texas Hold'em tournament last night.
But again, you want to finish thanking your buddies.
Yeah, expect fast pace, high tempo, lots of hitting. Generally, the AAA, the tempo is so fast, the hitting's hard.
You don't know what this is.
They generally keep it clean, leave it to the hitting, and settle it on the ice.
That's a good point there. Settle on the ice. The state championship game. Do you let the guys play? It seems what they're doing in the first period here.
Absolutely. What you're going to see out of in all three of the games today is the officials are going to call the injury potentials and the calls that affect turnovers and scoring opportunities. And you're going to see a lot of the jawing and shoving and stuff behind the play get left alone.
Thanks very much. Good analysis.
And thanks a lot to Dave Fryer and to Rick Gallagher, my broadcast partners throughout the year on MSA East. Second period is underway, and my broadcast partner to my left this afternoon is Jeff Morrow. My name is Jeff Nolan, and we come back here the second period. 1-0 Peters Township with the lead, and playing defense right away.
I was trying to get a clarification on the stats here for Haverford because I had a little different stats, but
yes.
I guess these are the Flyers Cup stats.
Yes.
I asked you what this was, and that's what we're looking at. And if you look across their lineup, they have some balanced scoring. Povey, Orlando, Coyle, Baumeister. They have a lot of balanced scoring on that lineup, so they're going to have to put some pucks in the net here against Medore.
And Haverly, the 9th grader, had a great game, I mentioned earlier, against Council Rock South in the Flyer Cup final. As a matter of fact, defensively, the Haverford played so well. Council Rock South had no shots in the second period of that game.
Game takes a little different flavor here. You know, this back and forth, but the more chances you give Peters in the zone to convert offensive chances and get set up, the more they're going to make a team pay. So Haverford's got to be careful about too many face-offs in that zone.
You know, there's two teams in this tournament, and I think they're both from the western part of the United States, that put a little bit of fear into you, and you don't want to give them opportunities, and that's Bethel Park and this team right here, Peters Township. Right out in front, Campley sends a shot, just kind of skipped off his stick in towards Medore, made it easy for Rob to make the save. So to keep the face-off in the Peters Township zone. Early moments here of the second period, 1-0 Peters Township.
Okay, face-off to the left of Medore. Haverford getting some zone time here. They need to start getting some shots and quality chances here, Jeff, because they really haven't tested Medore a great deal. Dave Fryer's nodding his head over here, but you know, he and I were just talking off the screen that happened, and Haverford's going to have to get some chances. Dave, if you want to chime into that, well, when we get a chance, I want to go back to Jeff with the action.
Well, the Papsiak's out there with Brendan Tingle, work the puck in the offensive zone. Comes up along the half boards, kept by Papsiak at the point. That's a deflection, never found its way in on net. Backhand try knocked down by the defenseman Nugent. Puck rolls into the left wing corner, backhand behind the net, poked at by Coyle as Coyle ran into Brian Papsiak. Papsiak now with the puck, comes off the wall, goes over to the left point, on the forehand drive through his screen. Thomas with the save, rolls over to his left, was looking for a rebound, but Papsiak couldn't unload it off the stick. Kept in at but docking or tried to keep it in at the blue line. Missed a chance and sent back in by Peters Township.
Well, the one thing you see there is you see the skill of Papsiak. They had an older brother, Mike Papsiak, who was a tremendous scorer that played on the 2002-2003 team. But the younger brothers follow right in the suit. These guys are so skilled. They just throw it to the net. And it was almost like the same players from Pencrest we saw in the last game. They throw that puck to the net. They have that instinct and know how to score. And that's what you like to see in a hockey player.
Well, Peters Township goes on the attack one more time. Out in front, looking for a pass on that far post. As Garrett Rooney gives up the puck, here comes Haverford. And as Medore goes down, the shot went up too high. Raymond tries to fight through the check of Baumeister. They're tied up just outside the blue line. I think we're getting a couple penalties here as Raymond fell on top of Baumeister and tried to get a couple jabs in.
He's giving them the business.
The business.
He's giving them the business.
You ever see that great referee call in football? He gives them one of these and one of those and a little bit of that. Right. And that's how he called the penalty.
Well, you know, one thing we see with Peters Township, and I want to belabor the point, both these teams are physical, but Peters Township will not back down. They will not back down to it. And Raymond is probably the leader of the ring. Jerry Raymond, number 69, top player. Dave, any thoughts on that?
You were saying earlier, they need to start testing Medora a little bit here. Not that he's going to crumble under the pressure here, but it affects more the team in front of him. To beat Peters Township, you've got to play consistent and sustained offense throughout the game. And they're playing physical from goal line to blue line, but once they get across the blue line, Haverford just doesn't seem to have the same pressure on Medora and around the net that Peters is getting on the other end of the ice. Peters is going to become rattled a little bit here, and I think Raymond showed a little bit of that on that last sequence there. Haverford's going to have to keep doing what they're doing and keep their heads in the game and get some shots on net to make the tide come back in their direction.
Right, and just to add to Dave's point, you know, Peters takes penalties. Haverford's got to make them pay, Jeff.
Sure.
They have to make them pay. But this is a confident, cocky group. They'll take them on 5-on-3. They don't care. As long as they can't score, they know they have Robbie Medora back there. They'll play with a different level of confidence. A different level of confidence.
And it kind of takes the confidence out of the opponent when somebody walks up and slaps you in the face and says, now beat us, and you can't. Kind of takes a little bit out of you. As Coyle, with the face-off, carries down the right side, never found its way in on net, sewed up by Michelle in the corner. And we get another whistle as the lid came off. The Peters Township player, Jake Michelle.
And that holds true, and Dave could probably attest to it more than anybody playing Peters 3 times this season. If this group gets the confidence level going, they can really get it going. So
penalty killer with Medora in there, they can take the risks and take the penalties and try to rattle the other team, whereas when the backup's in there, they don't have that luxury. So having Medora start to finish in this game is going to mean a big factor for them in the positive.
For Peters Township, number 69. And Medora tested out in front. Riley goes to the right point. Shot snapped towards the net, goes wide, as you hear the coincidental minors against Peters Township, and Haverford stays 5-on-5. On the attack, Haverford, shot by Povey, hits the side of the net. Coyle goes after the puck, tries to spin away from Michelle. Coyle tracks it down. Passed out between the rings, poked by the stick of the Peters Township player, kept in left side by Coyle. Just kind of forces it down the boards. Michelle waits behind the net, runs into Povey, wraparound try in front. That kicks out in front of Medora and played by the defenseman and out of the zone.
One thing that Peters Township's doing a real nice job of on that penalty kill was packing it in right in front of Robbie Medora. You see Jake Michelle, a small guy, but a guy with a lot of ability to get the puck out of danger. Very, very good defense by Peters Township.
And Chris Papsiak doing a great job on the kill here as he shoots to the short side and just missing.
And Haverford better pay attention, because if the Papsiaks get loose behind their defenseman on this penalty kill, it's going to be problems.
Haverford can catch up on that penalty here. Extra skater Riley. Puck flips up in the air. Called a double minor on Raymond?
I believe so, yeah. So they're done, and this is a big momentum boost and that confidence builder we were talking about. Here's Papsiak, watch.
From behind the net, tied up by Nugent.
Good play by Nugent.
Yeah, but a better play by Papsiak because he gets the face-off in the Haverford zone with 13 seconds still to kill on the penalty.
Ari Nugent has been a strong defensive player for Haverford for many years. Senior, probably the leader back on the back line. I had some good things, good conversations with Coach Cleary about that last evening, and some of the folks that have Matt Sachs that have watched Haverford play. Nugent's really a good player.
Haverford, 10 seconds left with the extra skater. Povey backhands it into the zone. Rooney got to it first. Rooney got some help from his teammate Eric Rechtenwald. Rechtenwald over skates, being forechecked by Povey. Able to work the puck out of the zone. Good kill. As we go back to 5-on-5 hockey.
Good defensive play there by number 88, Lou Pepe. He stepped in there and took the puck. That could have been a dangerous situation for the Fords on the back line.
Now you talk about Nugent. Pepe voted to the Flyers Cup All Tournament team.
He showed why right there. That was a very excellent hockey excellent play there.
1-0 Peters Township, 9:45 to play in the second period. Pepe had the puck momentarily in the neutral ice. Hannon winds up with it. Jeff now with Campley in front of him. Fights through a check, now goes right towards the net. This is Hannon. Deflected off of his stick last moment by Coyle. Centering pass onto the stick of Tingle. They jam on the short side. They force the play out in front of Thomas. And again, the defense for Haverford knocking down would-be shots towards their goaltender Thomas as we get an icing.
Good save there by Thomas. He got the blocker down, made a tough save. Hannon really just blew by the guy, and it was a great chance.
Pencrest, the single-A championship winner earlier this afternoon with a 5-3 win over Bishop McCord. After this game, we'll bring you the Malvern Prep Bethel Park game. Malvern Prep, the defending champion, says kaboom kabam as Boosie runs into a Haverford player. Everybody a little out of control in that Peters Township zone, Jeff.
Well, I'll tell you, Haverford comes out with a puck, though.
They whack at it. That puck goes behind the net. Medor's got to be paying attention back there for the Indians. Lowry and Campley can't keep it in, so Orlando waits for the white jerseys to clear before he dumps it back in. Puck rings itself up along the bottom of the boards, controlled by Peters Township in their own zone. Slow roll around. First one to it is Rue. Rue leaves it at the blue line. Touched by Della Valle. And dumped down to the Haverford zone.
Game's trying to get some meaning now. There's a lot of sloppy play. Bodies laying all over the ice. One of these teams has to start to pick it up and take control of this game. And I'm looking for something out of Haverford, and they really need to have an opportunity right here to get back in this game if they can get a goal.
Only trailing 1-0 with an even 8 minutes to play in the second period. Haverford from the east, Peters Township from the west. Pennsylvania AA state championship on the line. This is Lazaro. Backhands behind the net, picked up by Haverford. Forwards look to clear, they do. Croft's got to go back into his own zone, gets to it first. Swings a pass up to the red line, touched there by Lazaro. Gets the puck in the offensive zone, shot, Thomas saved, covers up the rebound. Eric Windmuir, who's had a big postseason with a great opportunity there.
Yeah, and again, Thomas is holding in the forwards in this game right now. And what's happening is Peters Township's starting to break down the defense of Haverford, and Thomas is keeping them in there. And he's got it. They have to get some chances at the other end, or Peters Township's really going to start moving.
See, Haverford's a pretty patient team. As the puck rolls out to the red line, touched there by Croft.
Yeah, we had a little bit of technical difficulty there, Jeff, part of the first period, and we now, with the great help of the Hersheypark folks and the people at BX Video, we were able to get back to full play here. So we apologize for the technical difficulty, but we're back online, and you know, we have to understand this is new technology. This is something that's new, and we're trying it out, and hey, we're happy to bring it to you.
And again, you'll be able to go back and watch these games again. So if you're watching it for the first time, you can go back and watch it again. It's my understanding that the on-demand is 100% clear, and
yeah, we hope, yes.
It'd be great to go back and watch. Lindemuller again with another shot. Thomas makes the save. Now Thomas makes the stick save this time. Peters Township turning up the heat a little bit. Here comes Hovey back the other way, but offsides down the left side. Haverford caught just sneaking across the line.
Right there. There's another guy that you don't read a lot about, but Huff made a real good play right there.
Papsiak puts the shoulder to Riley. Chris came behind him, but there's an offsides on the right side. Boy, look at Papsiak right there. He just kind of put the shoulders down, and you got to be careful when you play these guys from Peters Township because they will hit you.
Chris Papsiak is just a freshman. I think they have him listed here as a sophomore, but I don't know if that's correct. I think he's a freshman. and he is going to be something to watch over the next few years for Peters Township hockey. And he comes from a long line, including his brother and Mike, who we talked about earlier.
Well, this is Brian with the puck. Centering pass intercepted by Riley. Karen pass off the boards. Now, the Papsiak name is one I do remember for the past couple of years. Riley gains the blue line, cheats down the left side, gets around Michelle. Not actually, Michelle stayed with him. That right in front of Major. A little bit more dangerous than, or not as dangerous as it appeared. Papsiak answers back the other way in the slot through a screen. And a good save by Thomas as Papsiak pulled Campley in front of him to set up the screen.
Well, Brian Papsiak's paid his dues for Peters Township hockey. He's sat a lot on the sidelines with a second or third liner, and he's really worked hard to become a strong player.
Now this is Chris. Chris out there with Raymond. The puck comes out of the zone back to the red line.
Michelle's really a strong defensive guy back there. Little guy, but handles the puck so well and moves it. Really good hockey instinct. And again, it's another player that plays on two teams that Coach Cooper allows to move to the next level. A lot of these kids play both amateur and high school hockey, and they hone their skills 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It's just amazing, I see.
Dustin Rue with the game's only goal comes flying off the wing, shoots the puck wide. In front, they'll chip at it. It rolls back in on Thomas. They'll cover for a face-off.
Sometimes you look and you see the bounces that go one way or another. Haverford's getting some bounces right now, but they have to start to get some offensive pressure on Peters, because at some point this great offensive team of Peters is going to break through.
Well, you pound on the wall enough, it's going to break down.
We're going to bring...
That was the first shot, or at least attempted shot, that Haverford's had in the last 5 or 6 minutes. So they're hanging on by a string here.
And Dave brings up a good point there, you know, hanging on by a string. It's only 1-0. But Dave Thomas making a couple of great saves, keeping this game close right now. And, you know, 2 bad bounces, and it could conceivably get ugly.
Sections 19 and 20.
Face-off comes out of the Haverford zone, but that's why you play it, Jeff. That's why you play these games.
And we want to thank Dave Fryer for getting up real early in the morning, driving all the way out here to Hershey, and for his expert analysis. Thanks, Coach. It's been great job.
To add what I was talking about there, you know, hanging on by a string is kind of maybe a little bit of an insult, but at the same time, you know they have something left in the tank to bring here. If Haverford's going to win this game, they've got to start pouring it on at the end of the second period here to get some momentum going into the third.
Dave, I'd be curious, if they're going to have an ice cut in between the periods, do you think that'll help Haverford a little bit?
I do think so. They seem to be tiring a little bit. Peters keeps rolling 3 lines at him here, and they're playing pretty physical. Both sides are. I think Haverford needs to settle in and know that they got the game in hand if they put some offense on the board. They're shutting them down. Holding Peters to 1 goal after almost 2 full periods is a pretty good feat, but they haven't put anything on the board themselves.
Well, they just got their best shot of the period right there, as Mador answers with an equally impressive save. 4 minutes to play here, second period, 1-0 Peters Township on the Dustin Rue goal in the first period.
Here's a chance.
A steal, this is Coyle. Coyle gives up the pass, backhand, Mador, rebound, flipped wide of the net. Coyle was there. As McLaughlin and Coyle
watch out here,
almost
Jeff.
cash in. Now Raymond back the other way, wants to turn the defenseman, can't do so. Got a penalty coming up on Mike Lowry.
And there's Dave, you know, the quick striking ability of Peters Township to play at one end and then Raymond right back.
Right. I see a strategy change here by Peters Township. That's the second headman pass that's really gone a long distance for Peters. A few minutes ago, Jake Michelle threw one off the boards to Dustin Rue at the far blue line. So I think Peters sees the chance to get behind Haverford, getting a little overzealous, stepping in and get maybe a 2-on-1 or even a 3-on-1 and convert on that to get the 2-0 lead.
Big chance here for Peters to take a 2-0 lead, Jeff.
2-minute minor on Haverford's Mike Lowry for tripping. Power play opportunity now for the Indians. Papsiak with a puck just inside the blue line. Looks right, goes right. Centering pass in the middle, waiting on the other circle was Chris Papsiak. Now this is Chris with a puck right now.
This is going to be a big point of the hockey game here, maybe.
Got it right to his brother. That shot goes through the crease. You're right, Jeff. One-time drive. And a pad save by Thomas. Windmuller was right there on the doorstep.
Good play by Windmuller. Peters can look for that second goal. It'd be a huge goal in this game.
Papsiak again tried to feather a pass out in front. A little too fancy right there, looking for deflection. Missed the connection. So we'll try it one more time. Brian Papsiak fights through the check of Orlando, and I believe went in offside.
Boy, great presence by Brian Papsiak. Read his player not being able to get out of the zone, and he avoided the offsides, and they ended up offsides. Dave, what do you have?
Well, here's a nice thing for Peters Township is they just put that power play unit out there that created a couple good opportunities. They get a whistle, and who comes over the boards but Hannon, Rue, and Raymond. So not really their second unit, but the second half of the power play here is even stronger than the first half.
Right.
65 seconds left in the man advantage for Peters Township. 2:35 to go in the second period. They have a 1-0 lead.
The diversity of the Peters Township team, you know, and different styles of play, and the mix, that's Mark Cooper hockey, and I think he's been able to put that together over the years, and that's why we see him here 4 years in a row.
Peters Township with the puck in their own zone. They will outlet up ahead. Hannon just a little too strong, slowed up by the check of Pepe. Peters Township looks to set up offensively in the zone now. From behind the net, this is Raymond. Brings it up along that far side wall. Slowed down was Della Valley. Raymond, wrist shot. That was redirected towards the net. Centering pass. Thomas put the stick out there. Turns the puck back the other way. Povey, shorthanded from the blue line. Glove save Medor. Leaves it off for Michelle. Michelle now will skate it up ahead. Michelle now from the red line. Crisscross into the blue. Goes in the offensive zone. This is Hannon with the puck now. Hannon. Waning moments of the power play to Michelle. Deflected it off of Orlando. Puck goes behind the net. Lowry joins the four to make 5-5-on-5 hockey. Late second period. Minute 25 to play exactly. 1-0 Peters Township.
Well, we had an interesting play there where Dustin Rude tried to bank it off the skate of Thomas behind the net. Not many kids try that. It's like Lemieux almost. It was a very interesting play, and he almost got it by him.
Up through center ice, intercepted by Campley. Left of the red line, dumps it into the Peters Township zone. Haverford making changes here with 60 seconds to play in the second period. And a drive by Della Valley whistles wide of the net.
Remember the last game we saw a goal late in the period, and it seemed to spur Pencrest, so watch for something here late in this period too, Jeff.
Yeah, and if you look more closely, Jeff, Pencrest scored 3 goals. Each goal, or 3 goals coming at the end of each period. The last one an empty netter. Midori fanned on a puck out in front of him, but got support from his defense to get out of his zone. 30 seconds to play. Papsiak comes back. Papsiak rings it off the outside of the post. And the puck is touched by the stick of Carter Docking. No icing. Up ahead, red line just to the right. Tingle had it, sent back into the Peters Township zone. 5 seconds to play in the second period. Rob Medor off his stick up along the boards. The horn will sound.
A crazy bounce there in front of Rob Medor. You know, he handled it pretty well, and what happened? That was good. But he had a 2-on-1 going the other way, and Peters couldn't convert. So Haverford survives going to this final period of regulation.
You know, there's 2 words that we've used during this broadcast that have been so accurate, and that was Jay Fryer saying the hanging by a thread, and you saying Haverford surviving. People look at this score right now and think we're nuts, but if you're watching this game closely, I think you nailed it right on the head.
We've surpassed some of our expectations.
We've been good associates, 5-time Flyers Cup champions. You've coached with John Graves, one of the true gentlemen, and yourself a true gentleman of the sport of ice hockey in Pennsylvania, and in eastern Pennsylvania down at Iceline. We want to say hello to all the folks down there, but I want to thank you for your service. You've been really helpful in helping PA hockey grow.
Well, we certainly appreciate the coverage, Jeff. It's really great to be able to just sit down at your desk and get the information that you provide. It's just been a great service.
Well, hey, maybe next year we'll get down and have some breakfast, and always a pleasure, Father Ed.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Be good.
Good luck today against Bethel Park, your old-time nemesis.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Jeff, we're ready to go back to action here. We're going to bring in Matty Sachs here for a minute when we get a chance, and we get a little break here.
And you to Father Casey for joining us in between periods here. Third period underway. Peters Township starts this period off with a 1-0 lead. They're looking for state championship number 3. All happening in the 2000 decade. Indians with a puck, 1-0 lead. Out from the right wing corner, Della Valle, sewed up by Nugent. Povey helps out. Puck slides across the ice. Now with it is Riley. He'll dump it in from the red line. Played off the boards. Madore sends it with a big paddle up along the near side. Rechtenwald there. Greets it, slides it up ahead. Knocked off the stick of Della Valle. Right back into the Peters Township zone, but cleared out. Blue line to blue line. This time it's Pepe. Dumped in over the stick of Madore. Peters Township tries to get out right side. Pepe settles, shot knocked down. Peters Township will bring the puck out of the zone. Good play. Good strong game by Jeff Hannon so far.
Oh, yeah, Jeff Hannon, we just had a chance to talk to his dad, but he's kind of a staple of what his father was as a player, hardworking, both ends of the ice, and gives you an honest effort every time he puts the skates on.
Raymond had it on his stick, cut towards the net, and eventually taken away. Puck rolls out to the neutral ice. Orlando overskates, comes back to Pepe at the blue line. Goes rink wide over to Lowry, who just dumps it in the offensive zone. Hannon loses his stick. Back to Pepe, shot towards the net, right into the sweater of Madore, and he'll hang on for a face-off. Dangerous action in front of the Peters Township netminder.
In Western Pennsylvania, we have what we call Who's Who Night. If you follow the PA Hockey website, the game summary. Today's been a Who's Who, and this is one of the guys at the head of the Who's Who in Eastern Pennsylvania, Matt Sachs. Matt's joining us, and we're going to get a chance to talk to you in a minute.
Thanks, Jeff. Great, thanks.
Matt from Breakaway Magazine on the web at www.breakawaymonthly.com.
Right. And we want to say hello to the Pizza Pub boys, Tommy Pandolfo, Stu Relnick, Dr. Evil, Jerry Bass, Bobby Montana, Mr. Who's Who, Paul Tabey, and all the boys back in Western PA that we gather around. And this has been a special day, and we're going to get the chance to talk to Matt Sachs, who knows these guys. Matt, what have you seen so far today? Great win by Pencrest.
Absolutely a great win. They looked like they were outgunned in the first 2 minutes of the game, but they held on. They scored a big goal with 12 seconds left and another with about 10 seconds left in the second period. 2 huge goals, momentum carriers in the next period, and they hung on to the momentum. And they shut McCourt down in the third.
We're going to keep going back and forth between here, Jeff and Matt. Go ahead, Jeff. Take it away.
Thanks a lot. And shots on goal through 2 periods, Jeff. 23-12 in favor of Peters Township. Today with a 1-0 lead, 12:40 to go in the third period.
He's got to get back to his duties with the camera work. Matt, we want to thank you for your coverage in Breakaway. You do a heck of a lot for PA hockey over on the eastern side, and we love your work, and it's very much appreciated.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys.
Well, we'll have to get a Texas Hold'em game going because I think you want another piece of me.
Not much of a challenge there.
The 8-9 combo kit.
8-9 all in. You're the king.
All right. Take care, Matt. Thanks for stepping in.
A lot of people think Matt's going back to work. Actually, they just opened the buffet line, so that's where Matt's going to go do his work right now.
Jeff Nolan.
Oh, here we go.
Pennsylvania's Jeff Nolan always gets the last word in. Dave
Especially
Pryor.
when they're walking out of the way and they can't hear me anymore.
Well, Dave Pryor's back in the booth. Things went real well there with Earl Bugal over there. We want to thank him for that very special interview. Earl, a very, very important piece.
Amador.
Okay, Jeff, back to you, babe.
Thanks a lot. And Madore with action in front of him again. Haverford trying to unlock the combination that is Rob Madore. He's got the shutout on the board with 11:58 to go in the third period. 1-0, believe it or not. 1-0. The first period goal off the stick of Dustin Rue.
Yep. And you know, we saw a 1-0 game last week, Dave, in the Penguins Cup AAA game, and with Bethel Park and North Allegheny. You know, hey, we're used to seeing anything here, aren't we?
Talked after the last game. It wasn't really good hockey, but it was championship hockey with 1-0. Everything you can do to keep the other team off the board. So far, Peters Township is that team tonight.
Campley with a puck, centers out in front. Backhand try by Baumeister, knocked down. Kept in by Pepe. He'll dish it down to the left wing corner. Campley fell down. Puck muscled up along the boards, played out to the red line. Touched by Windmuir. Deflected right towards Thomas. That goes through the crease.
Good work there by Jake Della Valle, another blue-collar, good hockey player for Peters Township. You know, doesn't get a lot of ink, but he's a fine player.
Now Della Valle, shot, saved Thomas, glove clamped on it, face-off coming. And Della Valle, you say, doing blue-collar work, doing it right there and creating his own scoring opportunity.
Yeah, you'll see that out of Windenmuller, Della Valle, that line with Rechtenwald. This is kind of Mark Cooper's guys to give him a little momentum, to give him some space, and to get some rest and keep his big boys happy and rested.
See, Terra runs after the puck. He's bumped off the play by Garrett Rooney. Rooney survives the bump behind the net, plays the puck up along the right side, chipped out to the red line. That was intercepted by the defenseman, Riley, who gives it to Coyle, fakes the shot, darts down the right side, centers. But Peters Township there to do the dirty work in front of their own net and clear it up ahead. This is Windmuir. Windmuir now tries to go wide of Nugent. Centering pass down the slot. That's knocked down. Kept in, though. Good play by Rue. Rue tries to muscle his way in towards Thomas. Got it right in on the crease.
Well, good play there by Eric Rechtenwald down low. And a little chip pass he made up the Windenmuller just to keep it out of safety and get the pressure back up into the Haverford zone.
Again, here comes Peters Township on the attack. Thomas, 5-hole exposed just a little bit, not long enough for Dustin Rue. And the goaltender, Dave Thomas, signs on with a face-off. 10:07 to go, third period, 1-0 Peters Township.
Yeah, Dustin Rue's an interesting kid. You know, I mean, he really came, and you see a kid like him, he scores some points for Peters Township, but he's a very dangerous player, and he compliments his other players and gives a lot of ice for him, especially Raymond and Hannon.
Oh, Raymond took the shot off the face-off win by Hannon. Puck goes behind the net. Hannon went after it, able to send it past Rue up along the near side. Haverford in the middle, can't clear the puck out of the zone. Good keep there by Raymond. Blind backhand pass in the middle. Coming down the slot was Rue. Just missed. Rue now off the wall. Gives up the puck. Sent up along the near side. Kept in by Michelle. Left side will just deal it down low. Raymond waits for it off the boards. Can't get to it. Lowry does first. Gives up the puck instead. Pepe with a steal. Haverford able to clear the puck out of their own zone. McLaughlin gains the opposite blue line. Tries to dump it in. Cut off by the defenseman. Played off the board. And here comes Hannon, and Hannon out there with Raymond. Raymond stretching out for the puck. Just couldn't quite get it. Sends a backhand pass in the middle, intercepting the right wing circle.
I had a bad thought there, Jeff. I'm looking at this Peters Township team, and they look like they're circling like sharks, looking for their prey and looking for that knockout punch with that second goal. And they're starting to get some space. So Haverford better pick it up here, or they're going to have a little bit of a problem.
As you say that, Shane Coyle tries to do some offensive work. And we'll send it over to Dave Fryer in just a moment here. Haverford in their own zone. Pinned back. Nugent, bad bounce off the boards. Papsiak tipped it towards the net. Nugent, though, got to it first. And the puck is cleared.
Okay, we're going to go over to Dave.
If you talked about circling like sharks, I don't know if you can see the display here. I'll walk it through for the people that just have audio. What Peters is doing is an adjustment. They're throwing two guys through the neutral zone here, side by side. And what that allows them to do is when the defenseman steps up towards one of the two, it allows them to chip the puck over to the other guy. He can't play both guys and be physical on both. So it's allowed them to circle into the zone with an attack of a 1-on-2 at that point. And then the trailers join the play. So circling like sharks is just about right.
Okay, go ahead, Jeffrey. Thanks, Dave.
Oh, there's a shooting gallery all of a sudden in front of Dave Thomas. And that hit the post. No, it went in. Just underneath the crossbar, it looks like. And they're going to discuss it. But they indicated goal for Peters Township.
Referee was right on the scene on that, Dave. He's right down on the goal line, and he saw it clearly. And there it is, the Papsiak brothers. And they were looking for that, and they know that is a huge, huge goal right here.
Jeff, just about...
Well, we have a 2-0 game here, Jeff, and this looks like with 8 minutes to go, big goal. We're going to get a wait on the announcement. I'm not sure whether Papsiak got that one or not, but we'll see.
Michelle lifts it in from the point, and Thomas will wait for the face-off. Peters Township getting that much closer to regaining their state championship from 2 years ago.
And this isn't the overpowering performance we saw. They had a lot of finishers on that team in 2003, but you could see that they're starting to get that feeling, and they're going to start knocking them down. Thomas has played a strong game here today, or this could be really one-sided.
Backhand in front. Haverford. Clearing pass was behind McLaughlin. Stays in the zone. Fords. Pepe. Gets it to the middle to Povey. Povey shot. Mador makes the save with McLaughlin streaking down the right side.
Well, Dave, one thing I want to say is that we've watched this Peters Township team. They're able to play it a lot of different ways, defensively, offensively, whatever way you want to play it. You saw 3 different types of teams in the games you played this season. We're seeing it again here today.
.7:05 to go, third period. Peters Township with a 2-0 lead with Dave Fryer and Jeff Morrow. My name is Jeff Nolan. Riley for Haverford dumps the puck in the offensive zone. Peters Township right on top of the puck, though, wasting very little time clearing it out. Riley picked off the pass intended for Della Valley to Coyle. Coyle now. Shot. That skips over the net. And Mador takes away the angle, goes down, and takes away a big chunk of that net.
Chances are coming few and far between for Haverford. They have to convert. You know, they're still in this hockey game at 2-0, but they have to start putting the puck in the net.
Now they'll try high in the slot. Now behind the play, tangled up is...
the one thing that has been very good for Peters today, Dave Fryer.
Peters Township goal was scored by number 70, Brian.
Yeah, Brian Papsiak on the goal. But one thing, they've been pretty disciplined today, Peters.
And number 16, Brandon Tingwell. Time of the goal is 7 minutes. Township goal is 70, assisted by 31 and 16 at 7:05.
Well, I think we're going to see. I think we have coincidentals here. I didn't see that, Dave. Yeah, we do. And
well,
you know what?
That would be a Peters penalty.
We're getting to a critical time, Jeff Nolan, for Haverford, where they have to score, and Peters Township is going to do everything to make their life miserable. We'll see if they can capitalize. Maybe Haverford might get a little bit aggressive on the forecheck and bringing their defense up.
Well, as they fight in front of Mador, he's able to gather that puck up in front of him. And the difference right now is Rob Mador, because that's the last line of defense. And he has been just so steady back there that you got to figure he is frustrating this offense for Haverford High right now.
Well, he's calm, cool, and collected. Rob's a very confident kid. He wanted to atone for what happened last year against Archbishop Carroll, and he's shown what kind of goaltender he is by just great goaltending, solid positioning in the net.
Very, very steady right now. Haverford able to keep the puck in the offensive zone. Circle, shot knocked down. Odd man rush if they hurry. Here comes Peters Township back the other way. Hannon leads the rush. In the middle to Raymond. Tried to settle with the glove. Couldn't do so. Baumeister touched it. Puck brought up along the near side. 5:40 to go. Third period, 2-0. Peters Township with the lead. They intercept the pass, and they'll dump it out ahead.
Very responsible back check there.
2-on-1 by Raymond. He shoots. He scores! Just stuck behind the goaltender, Thomas, and it's 3-0 Peters Township.
I want to talk about the way of putting a line together, and this is Mark Cooper hockey. Mark Cooper put a line together with Jeff Hannon, Dustin Rue, Jerry Raymond. Rue made a great play on the run of a little bit of a pick there, but the very responsible back checking of Dustin Rue made that play. moved it to Jeff Hannon, who saw Raymond, and Raymond did the job finishing. And I think Peters is on their way to their third state championship in 4 years.
And they'll do it with picking up 2 goals in about 2.5 minutes here in the third period.
Haverford had to answer the bell here in the third period.
And again, in front of Madore. Madore makes the save. Backhand. Madore again. He took his own rebound with the stick and cleared it to the corner.
Now you're going to see the Rob Madore show here. I'm telling you, Jeff, he's ready to shut them down and close the kitchen sink.
A steal. Papsiak tried to pull the puck in the zone with him, couldn't. Povey makes the move the other way. Povey, good save again by Madore. Backhand, stayed with it all the way. Povey centered out in front. Missed the connection coming down the middle. I believe that was Haverley. Or that was probably Campley. That was Riley.
Yep.
3 times I get it right.
That's okay. But I started to make a point, and Dave, maybe you want to chime in on this. This is the Rob Madore show now because he's going to shut the door on Haverford the rest of the way. We have 4 1/4 moving forward, and he's going to shut the door on this, and the Peters Township Indians are going to move on. Haverford hasn't shown me anything to show me otherwise.
I think Madore's in the heads of the Haverford shooters, too. They're taking either an extra second to try to pick a corner that's not there, or they're just throwing it at the net hoping for something, and it's usually hitting them right in the chest.
Well, I think it's just good goaltending style in the net and knowing how to move to certain positions and centering your body. And he shows me he's one of the best goaltenders in the state. And he's shown it here today, and he's shown it throughout the playoffs.
Windmuller with the puck, just shot it over the net. Now handles in that far wall. Back to the point. Rooney settles. Shot knocked down in front, flipped up to Campley. Outlet up ahead on a break. Here comes Orlando. Orlando shot, and a great save by Madore as it rolled up his stick and behind the net.
Good play by Carter Dawking just to get the play out of the zone. Simple play. He saw his team was in a little trouble. He just slid it out of the zone. Nice play there by the young sophomore.
3:30 to play in the game. Peters Township 3-0 lead. Offsides was Lazaro, and he gets dumped at the end by Nugent. And this is what you want to stay away from. If Haverford is going to resort to this now, then this game's over.
Well, I think it is over, Jeff. I think Rob Madore made the statement moments ago, and I thought that Mark Cooper used it. He's going to send out his grinder line here. Rechtenwald with Lazaro.
And, Jeff, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm watching Mark Orlando down here in the corner. And he just stood there looking like, what are you guys doing? What is this all about right now? There's stuff going on. I mean, Orlando will take a seat in the penalty box because they got him for something down here.
But Jake Michelle comes over to Rechtenwald. Rechtenwald stepped in, defended his teammate. And that's what this Peters Township's about. They don't take any business from anybody. They're a fine organization. And Mark Cooper, let's talk about Mark Cooper for a second. This is 3 state championships in 4 years. This guy has done a heck of a job with Peters Township. And, coming out of the 7th seed, a lot of discussion on the other side of the state. Everybody knew that Peters Township was a dangerous team. They were the team to beat. Dave, your team was the #1 seed, but everybody talked about Peters Township. They knew that this team was a dangerous team.
Here are your penalties. For Peters Township, number 63, Eric Rechtenwald. And for Haverford,
Jeff Nolan are going to get the...
Let me pick up on something. I'm going to say there's 2 big plays that just happened in the last 5 minutes or so here. One was the back check at Dustin Rue, which, Jeff, you pointed out there, and that was obviously your coach's eye looking at that one. The back check at Dustin Rue that broke up a 2-on-1 that turned back into 2-on-1 for Peters Township that gave him the 3rd goal. And then the breakaway there that Rob Madore he didn't make the save. He didn't need to get a piece of it, but he stood his ground and came across and forced the shot wide. Two big plays in this game that basically put it in the bank.
Forced a bad shot, and then, that's Rob Madore is in the heads of Haverford. If it's not Peters Township, it's Rob Madore,
right.
and that's the confidence that Peters can play with when they know they have him back every day.
And it's nothing big. It's not a huge highlight reel kind of play, especially the play by Rue, but those are the things that decide games like this. And the play Dustin Rue made is not going to show up on the stat sheet other than he got an assist on the play, but it goes a long way in deciding the winner.
Getting a little inside perspective here, Jeff Nolan. Hey, it's been a pleasure doing these games with you.
We've had a good time.
It's true, you're a professional. And I'm how lucky I am to be next to you.
Well, you're
I've
very
been looking I've been looking forward to this for many years of doing games with you, Jeff, and we had an opportunity to do a couple games over the years and some work together. But for the people that don't know, across this state and across this country, this is one of the best announcers in this country at what he does, and I want to thank him for coming in here today. We always kid about this, Mr. Hockey East and Hockey West, but you know, this guy to my right has just done a great job today, both games, and a true professional. I really enjoyed it.
I appreciate your kind words, and you and I share the same passion for hockey here in Pennsylvania, and you do your stuff on the West. I do mine, what I can, on the East, and together we meet at least once a year.
We get the thumbs up from Dwight and Dave over there on Mr. Nolan here. Oh, there we go. We got it. Well, maybe next time we get together, we'll do this again, and it might be in North Dakota, Meadville, wherever we go.
Well,
our travels take us.
Well, I'm going out to Bentonville, Illinois, for the national championships next week. If I can take you guys with me, and you know, wouldn't that be neat to get USA Hockey national championships on something like this?
The Chicago Showcase?
No, going for the national championships. For
right. Well, we'll have to look into those possibilities. Hey, Dwight Dietrich, Dave Bright, from the folks from BX Video, thanks for your work, the hard work that they put into today. You know what? This is just a neat thing. Hopefully you'll have a chance to see this live. If you don't, you'll be able to see it on tape delay, and we're hoping to get and also Mr. Doug Heck for the fine color that he's given us today here from the Hersheypark Arena. And it takes a big team, and we have one of the best, and I'm without mentioning Dave Fryer, your great technical expertise, and partner, we enjoy having you on the broadcast as well.
Don't forget Hex Video Productions on the web at www.hecks.net. Established in 1982. Heck, that old?
Heck, he's not old.
82?
He's a young man. He's a young man. The Super Techno. Mr. Doug Heck bringing us all the color here from Hersheypark Arena.
Well, final 2:20 of our AA state championship game, and it's pretty much in the books for Peters Township with a 3-0 lead over Haverford High School from the East. Now, we've got one more game coming your way. The Malvern Prep Friars will look to defend their AAA crown and making the return to the finals, Bethel Park. That'll be a good one. You can watch it right here in BX Video on eteam/bahockey.com.
Okay, up on your screen right now, we have the AA state champions, and we're starting to see a cementing here, a bronzing of the Peters Township program. This is state championship number 3, I believe it is,
yes.
2002, 2003. When you get to that third, and for you folks out there in PA Hockey Land, please check out our Wall of Champions. Dave Bright, I brought him in today. He says, "Where'd you get all this stuff?" And I said, "Jeff, only on PA Hockey, but we have the Wall of Champions, and Peters will now be in bronze as a 3-time state champion."
And Peters Township will put the icing on the cake right there on a rebound, fell out in front, and Dustin Rue goes up top, second goal of the game. And Peters Township with a 4-0 lead and 1:50 away from their regaining their state championship title.
Well, I look over on the bench there again at Coach Cooper. There's a couple other guys. Denny DeFelice, Scott Simmons has been just a martyr for the Peters Township program. A gentleman that comes in a suit and tie at every game. Some of the fine folks there, Dave Fletcher, and some of the good people with Peters Township that have done a lot of work there. I had a good chance to visit with those folks last night, and they deserve a lot of credit for putting this team on the ice in the Peters Township program. Dave.
Part of this team this year was Justin Moramis, the so-called backup goaltender for Peters, played most of their games this year because of Medore's travel commitments. He really did a great job in my opinion, the most improved player in AA hockey this year. He got them to where they're at this year and really put them in a situation what they're in right now to get to the state final, even though he's not playing on the ice today.
And that's depth. That's depth, Jeff. It's depth. They have depth in that program. Justin Maramis, and you're exactly right, Dave. And that's a great point.
Raymond, wrist shot, an easy save there by the Haverford goalie. Peters Township, how did they do it? They beat South Park in the first round 6-3. In a quarterfinal win 2-1 against Greenberg Central Catholic. Semifinal win against Cannon McMillan 6-4. In a game they trailed 4-1, and then they beat Pine Richland 6-2 in the Penguin Cup final to set up this state title win this afternoon.
Well, I tell you what, I was all wrong about it. I thought Peters was ready to pack it in late in the season. They had a couple of losses. Then they beat Dave's Cannon McMillan squad. But, Coach, I'm going to let you come back to play here. Coach Cooper did something a little unorthodox. He turned the jerseys over. He said, you're not playing for the Indian on the front. You're playing for the names on the back. And ever since that happened, this has been a different hockey team. And I'll tell you what, these kids have showed here throughout the playoffs and today what they're made of, Jeff.
Well, great showing here for Peters Township, and they'll get that title back. And it only stayed in the East momentarily with Archbishop Carroll.
Yeah, we had hoped to have Billy Hammonds on here to talk about Peters Township, but, you know, they've done a great job here today.
This is all about keeping the 0 on the board now for Peters Township.
We're down under 16, Jeff.
15 seconds to play. 4-0 Peters Township. And a AA state champion awaits. You can begin the countdown at home. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. And the horns down. It's celebration time for Peters Township with a 4-0 shutout win over Haverford High School, and the AA state championship returns.
Jeff, I'll tell you, on behalf of the Peters Township kids, Mark Cooper, this is a very, very special win for this program. Mark had told me many times that they had a very, very close-knit group of kids that he knew that they could do it, and this is redemption for them today, but it's a love between a coach and their players and his ability to give them the opportunity to further their hockey careers at a higher level. And Rob Madore, Jerry Raymond, Dustin Rue, you name them, they made it happen here today. But it's the Jeff Hannons and it's the Jake Michels and those kids that are really what Peters Township hockey's all about, as all 19 or 20 kids, the love with their coach. They made it happen in a great championship win here today for Peters Township.
And you can see the celebration off to our right as the guys really enjoying it here as they set up the trophy table at center ice for the presentation. You know, Jeff, a lot of times you have outsiders make comments about programs, in all sports programs, baseball, hockey, about coaches, about managers and that sort of thing. Ultimately, it's about the relationship between the players and the coaches, and like you're speaking of right now, a strong bond between Coach Cooper and his players. As you see one of the greatest scenes in sports right now, the handshake, two teams battling for 45 minutes will shake hands and congratulate each other at the end. But again, the relationship between Coach Cooper and his players, that bond, that they will not quit on him and he will not quit on them, and it results in a state championship.
Well, and the other thing is the unselfishness of certain players. Justin Maramis, as Dave mentioned to you, the goalie that played all year when Rob Madore was out furthering his career at another level, and Justin was a key integral part of getting a lot of wins for this team. And it also, you know, Rob Madore and the great Peters Township team, you know, it takes all 20. It takes all 20. But these kids are really, they'll feel it now, but you know, as you and I know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years from now, when these kids come back and they see Coach Cooper on the street and they have a reunion of Peters Township hockey, this will be what they always point to.
And you got to give credit to Haverford, winning the Flyers Cup title, getting here to this game here this afternoon. Brian Cleary, third year coaching this team. Gets him back for the first time in a dozen years or 13 years. Guys came in here and, you know, didn't back down. Stayed with Peters Township the entire time, and we'll congratulate Haverford High on the great...
In numerical order, number 3, Alex Caesar. Number 4, Bob McLaughlin. Number 7, Steve Terra. Number 9, Ian Finnerty. Number 18, John Cody. Number 19, Mark Orlando. Number 26, Dave Thomas. Number 27, Mike Mander. Number 29, Shane Coyle. Number 44, David Baker. Number 47, Drew Baumeister. Number 50, Dan Riley. Number 54, Michael Lowry. Number 85, Ari Nugent. Number 88, Louis Perez. Number 91, Chris Hanley. Number 93, TJ Haverley. Assistant coach, Benny Girolamo. Assistant coach, Doug Heston. Assistant coach, Dave Walsh. And Haverford head coach, Brian Cleary. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2004-2005 state AA runner-up Haverford Boys. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Tom Trzynski, President of the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Hockey League, to present the medals to the 2004-2005 State AA champion, Peters Township Indians. In the American